Hey everybody, thank you for joining me here once again for another session of advice with a zodiac twist. This is my second video today because I was incredibly late on getting back to the people that sent me emails. I just want to apologize once again. I've been just super busy just getting stuff together, promoting the channel and all that crap, but no excuses. I'm late and I apologize. So this is the second video that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing another birth chart because another person contacted me, a gentleman that I talked to on Yahoo Answers, and he wanted to know if I could do a birth chart. Now, if you didn't see the other video, let me just explain to you once again what a birth chart means. A birth chart basically goes into depth about your personality from start to finish, and it really is determined by your date of birth, your place of birth if you know it, and if you know it as well, your time of birth. Now, we're not going to get super deep into it because, quite frankly, I don't have enough time to do that. I'm not a partner, so I only have 10 minutes to get all this wrapped up. So we're just going to focus on four planetary properties, if you will. That's Sun, Moon, Mars, and Venus. Now, the Sun sign determines your overall personality. The Moon sign determines your overall emotional personality, which is totally different. Your emotional personality meaning how you handle things emotionally, get it? Now, your Mars determines how you handle situations as far as like aggression, temperament, anger, frustration, and how you handle all of those things. And Venus deals with how you handle relationships. Now, I'm talking about relationships with your family and friends, or relationships with your girlfriend or your wife, things like that, okay? So that's why we're focusing on those four key planets today. So let's start from the beginning. His sun sign is Pisces. Now, Pisces is a water sign, along with Cancer and Scorpio. And Pisces are very perceptive for the most part. I'm an obsessive note taker. You have to get used to that. And as I said, Pisces are very perceptive and very sensitive. And they tend to have what I like to call an escape mechanism. Like, people have defense mechanisms, and I'm sure you've heard that term. Like, my defense mechanism is that I'm incredibly sarcastic. So with Pisces, they have an escape mechanism. When things get too hard for them, or they just feel overwhelmed or frustrated, they tend to escape into some fantasy world. I'm not trying to say they're crazy, because Pisces really aren't. They're really lovely people. But yeah, they have an escape mechanism that they tend to go to quite often. But they also are very tolerant of people, very understanding, very sympathetic and caring. But they also tend to find themselves in situations that aren't very good for them. So they can be tolerant of different situations, but they aren't necessarily good ones. So that's one thing about Pisces that you really need to be aware of. That you really do need to try to change up. And also, your immense fear of change is definitely holding you back. So I really want you to work on that as well. I would get deeper into your sun sign, but since we're doing a chart, I can't really spend too much time on one specific thing. So we're going to move on to your moon. Now, your moon sign is in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius also have an escape mechanism. And it's so funny that your moon sign kind of like complements your sun sign in that vein. So Aquarius, with your moon in Aquarius, you tend to like talking to a group of people. You're very sociable, but you tend to like talk to a group of people rather than talking to a person in a one-on-one type of intimate conversation, because for some reason that makes you feel awkward and uncomfortable. But if you talk to a group of people, that makes you feel more secure. You're very curious about different types of people. That's why your circle of friends is very interesting. You like, researching. You like meeting different types of people from all walks of life, different cultures, different religions, things like that. You're very you just like to learn as much as you possibly can about people who aren't like you per se. You're very open-minded in that way, which is really good. But also, even though you have a wide circle of friends for the most part, or you can have a wide circle of friends, it's really hard for people to really find out who you really are. It's like people know all these things about you because every time they see you, you're very outgoing and fun, you always have a great story to share, but people really don't know who you are. So you can be detached in that way. So that's something that, is definitely telling about you. But the thing I love about you with your moon in Aquarius is that you tend to dream big. And you're extremely perceptive. And I want to say kind of clairvoyant, or I would say intuitive. Let's use that word. You're very intuitive. So if you dream big and you see yourself and you envision yourself at a certain point in your life where you're successful, where you have a great career, or things like that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to make it happen, because that's just the type So that's, really good. Now your Mars, moving on from your moon in Aquarius, now your Mars is in Gemini, a fellow air sign. Now with your Mars in Gemini, that means that you are very playful, very flirty. You like the comfort of a relationship, but you don't like the responsibility of one. Do you know what I mean when I say that? It's like you like saying that you have a girlfriend, but you don't want the responsibility of having a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Because you're not very emotionally available. You aren't. So even though you may want to have a girlfriend or may want to be in a relationship, quite frankly, I think you should just stick to dating casually. And as long as that female knows what's going on and she knows where you stand, then I don't see anything wrong with you dating casually, as long as all the parties know exactly what it is from the door. So that's why I say that, you can be kind of detached somewhat, and it goes back to your moon being in Aquarius. So with your Mars being in Gemini, you tend to, like I said, be playful, flirty, all that good stuff. And as long as you don't feel tied down, and this means in any situation, as long as you don't feel tied down to a job or tied down in a relationship or tied down to being obligated to anyone or anything, as long as you don't feel that way, then you're good to go. And you're really a joy to be around. Your brain is really interesting because even though you may be hanging out with somebody, having a great time at a party, your brain is probably thinking about what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Like, your brain never stays on the task at hand. You're always 24 hours away. Like, you're always thinking about the next thing you have to do. Your brain is always going, which is, you're probably not a good sleeper. Like, I don't know this to be, accurate. You didn't tell me that, but I'm thinking because your brain is always going, it's probably hard for you to sleep sometimes. That's just my little assessment. I could be wrong. Now, your Venus is in Aries. Now, Aries is an aggressive sign in and of itself. Now, with your Venus being in Aries, remember what I said about Venus. Venus deals with you in terms of relationships and how you handle others and how others look at you. Now, with your Venus being in Aries, that means that you like the chase of, finding someone and then, let me put it this way. If you like a female, you like a female to play hard to get, to be kind of tough, to have a little bit of an attitude, not a lot of attitude because that's not a turn on, but a little bit of an attitude, a little bit cold. You like the chase. You like to kind of bring a person's guard down. You like that challenge. You love a challenge. And this is not just saying in relationship sense or chasing down a girl, but you just love a challenge overall. And if someone says, I can do something better, you're like, no, you can't. I can do it better than you. And you're fearless in that way, where you don't mind being up for anything, and I do mean everything. You tend to like to argue just to prove a point, even if you really don't know what that point is. And what I mean is, you tend to like to argue just to see where the other person stands, because arguing for you is seeing someone be just as passionate as you are about something. You want to see if they're on your level, so to speak. Like, okay, this is a strong person because they stood up to me and they're sticking by their beliefs and they're sticking by their opinion, so they're a cool person or they're a really strong person, okay? And you'll start an argument with the person just to prove that point alone. So, your Venus being in Aries is really interesting. But overall, I think that you have a really good chart. Your Sun being in Pisces, your Moon is in Aquarius, your Mars is in Gemini, and your Venus is in Aries. Now, I don't know how well I did your chart, because when you sent me the email, you said that you went to a website and they already did a pre-chart for you, basically, saying the same placements that I said, but not saying exactly the same thing that I said. So I don't know how well I did. Hopefully I gave you something new to think about. Hopefully I did. That's my goal. But anyway, I hope you like this. That's all I can give you right now. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me as usual. I thank you for viewing, and I thank all of you guys out there on YouTube for viewing. And remember, if you want a birth chart done, just to let you know, the only thing I'm going to be focusing on is your Sun, Moon, Mars, and Venus, okay? So if you want a chart done, let me know. I'll be happy to do one. Or if you just want regular advice, whether it's about compatibility between signs, or if you just want advice on you, remember what I say. Send me your information, your date of birth. You don't have to give me the year if you don't want to. And I will be happy to do a video response for you. creativewritings247@gmail.com. So until then, I thank you for viewing. I thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. Or like I said, just send me an email if you want some advice or a birth chart done. I'll be happy to do it for you. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.